Today, we're talking ADHD superpowers, and it has the community divided. It can feel like a cruel joke if you're struggling, but for some of us, myself included, we love our divergent brains. Is it as simple as learning how to use my powers effectively? Well, yeah, kinda. But I came up with the perfect metaphor to help explain what's going on here. Let's get started so I can share it with you. We live in a neurotypical world, and that world runs off consistent, sequential, linear steps. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. You crawl before you walk before you run, you go to school, you get a degree, you start a career, you get married, you have kids, so on until you die. Any deviation from this track is seen as a mistake that needs to either be corrected or sometimes covered up. But ADHDers, we struggle with steps. We are constantly tripping over ourselves, despite our best efforts. And because taking steps is seen as the easiest thing ever, we're labeled as lazy, unruly, or just plain bad. However, we spend an awful lot of our time with our head in the clouds, without a lot of time thinking about how we got there. We can never seem to keep pace with our peers. We're either going too slow or too fast. Our goals are too lofty, and our desire to see beyond the horizon is just met with blank stares. We are not understood by others or even ourselves. So we weigh ourselves down with shame until we're so paralyzed that we can't move in any direction without doubt, anxiety, and a deep sense that we are missing something crucial about ourselves. Some hidden puzzle piece that would explain why we're like this. And I'm here to tell you that that thing that keeps tripping you up, that thing that stops you from taking typical steps forward, those are wings, tucked close to your chest to avoid making anyone else uncomfortable. Your wings are big and strong, and they take up space that you didn't even know you needed. And without the space to accommodate your impressive wingspan, you've been dragging those wings through the mud, stepping all over them. No wonder we keep tripping. We can't take steps like the normies, because we have always been meant to fly. And I think deep down, we all know this. I mean, we've been mentally taking off for years, often completely accidentally. In the sky, we feel incredible. We can move faster than anyone, and we can see the whole picture and all the pieces. The problem is that nobody is teaching us how to fly. So we struggle to maintain altitude. We run out of energy, so we crash land straight into burnout. And if you do that too many times, then flying starts to feel too dangerous. So we tether ourselves to neurotypical standards, and we pretend that we don't yearn for that risk, that freedom and adventure. And we convince ourselves that if we just work a little bit harder, we can learn to embrace steps, even if it means we're constantly tripping, even if it means we're miserable. But worse than all of that is that we don't give ourselves any time to recover from the crash. We pretend it didn't even happen. So we're all living our lives wounded and in pain and telling ourselves that if we were really meant to fly, we would just be able to do so instinctively. But every airplane needs maintenance. Every bird needs to rest. You can't just fly off whenever you want to or allow the wind to decide. You need fuel and safety checks. At the very least, you need to work out your wings so they can handle the challenge of flight. Flying takes energy, strength, and skill. One way to learn is to just wing it. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But really, you could throw yourself at the sky until you lift off and just crash over and over and over again until you get the hang of it. I mean, that's how I learned. On second thought, I wouldn't recommend it. But it's not like you can just go to flight school. You're going to need someone to share the tips and tricks. And I really hope that I can be that person, because I believe that ADHDers are all meant to be soaring through the clouds. And we definitely don't need to spend our lives tripping over our assets. We can use our wings to effortlessly glide through neurotypical steps, skipping the ones that are of little interest because we can see what's coming next. The rules of flying are not set, and everybody has their own set of tools. You're going to have to test your own limits and build your stamina. Because you've been denying this power for so long, you have no idea what you're capable of. And if you're anything like I was, you're carrying around a whole lot of shame. And it's making you feel heavy and slow. So much so that you may not feel like you can even move forward. Your first move is to stop carrying that shame. Let yourself feel light and flighty, unapologetically. And remember, the sky is the limit, truly. You're not starting over, you're doing an impressive loop-de-loop. You're not spiraling, you're doing a barrel roll. We don't need to move forward like everybody else. We are born different, and it is absolutely okay for us to move through life differently. Besides, the ground rules, they don't apply to us. We have no need to climb the corporate ladder or follow in someone else's footsteps. And the greatest part is that you're not alone. There is a whole community of ADHDers right now learning how to fly, how to manage their superpowers so they can start to really thrive. Embracing your superpowers and this new standard of living is a massive change in mindset. But I know that there is a world where your weaknesses are seen as nothing more than minor byproducts of your incredible strengths. We can learn to take better care of ourselves, to make sure that our fuel tanks are full and in good working order. It really comes down to energy management, and if we can figure that out, we can live a life that is entirely on our terms. Okay, so obviously ADHDers can't actually fly. So what do I mean by flying? Our superpower really is creativity. And I know this can be a kind of frustrating answer for a lot of people because creativity just comes to us so naturally. It's hard to realize just how valuable it can be. Your creativity can be used to problem solve your way through life, but far too often we end up using it for rumination and catastrophic thinking. We waste it on a narrative that puts us in the role of victim or even villain. And then we wonder why we're so miserable. Use that creativity to redesign your life and turn it into something that you can be truly excited about. And you might not see that as a super heroic choice, but it really is, because the more you live in alignment with who you are and what you're capable of, the more that other people will want to do the same. And it just spreads out wide like our wings. Thanks for watching. I'm Kristen. This is Creatively Divergent. I make videos every week, so please subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you next week. Bye.